All right, thank you for tuning in. 23 minutes after 9 o'clock. Emilie Wapnick is on the phone. She's a career coach, a TED speaker, a blogger, a community leader, the founder of and creative director at PurryLike.com. We're going to find out what that is. They help multi-potentialities integrate all of their interests to create dynamic, fulfilling, and fruitful careers and lives. Oh, I like that already. And she's written a book called How to Be Everything, a guide for those who still don't know what they want to be when they grow up. Good morning, Emilie. What an interesting topic. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from British Columbia on the West Coast.
Oh, really? Well, thank you for getting up early to be with us today.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you know, I think some of us find a job and stay with that job until we retire. And then that's it. I think many of us, though, are always changing and always like trying to find something new, or you might even say reinventing themselves. Which are you? Are you the person who's happy to settle down, or are you the one who says, well, what I was 10 years ago is not who I am today?
Definitely the second one. I've always had a hard time answering that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because there are just so many things that I want to do and experience, and I've gotten to do a lot of different things. So actually, now as an adult, I have a hard time answering the question, so what do you do? Because I do a lot of different things. But it makes for an interesting life and career.
Yeah, I remember there was a rock singer, a lady rock singer named Patti Smith. I don't know if you remember Patti Smith.
Yeah.
And she was sort of kind of like a female Mick Jagger back in the day. And I remember on an old talk show, the talk show host said, you know, you're very good at art and you're doing music. Have you ever thought about doing art as a career? And she said, well, I'll save that for my older years. And I thought, well, that's a great answer. You know, it seems like rock music would be more appropriate for your younger years and art might be more appropriate for your older years.
Yeah, Patti Smith has actually done art in some capacity, in many capacities for most of her life, but maybe professionally. But yeah, absolutely.
I was referring. The talk show host was Mike Douglas. I don't know if you remember him, but that's a million years ago. It feels like.
What kind of advice do you give to people when they are constantly multitasking about how to, like, sometimes slow down and just enjoy life?
Yeah, so I think there's a difference between multitasking and having many passions. I think you can have a lot of passions and projects and still do one at a time, so you're not just totally, splitting your... Actually encourage people to kind of narrow it down to like 1 to 4 priority projects, and then you can have like a nice long list of things that you explore on the side, just so that you can like balance the dual needs to like explore with making progress on your various projects. So you pick 1 to 4 main things, and then when it's time to like sit down and do your work, whatever that means, whether it's a personal project or something professional, you take a look at your priority projects, you pick one, and you work on it until you until you lose steam, and then you can switch. And then once you've gotten some good work done on something important, then, if you need to explore something else, set a timer for 40 minutes and just, let yourself go down the rabbit hole and explore. Just, it's about, balancing that need for that curiosity with, the desire to actually take action and to make things happen.
Yeah, I like that. I had a discussion once with somebody who was very pessimistic, and I said, you can be anything you want to be. And he said, I've heard that all my life, and it's not true. Right. And I said, well, wait a minute. I think you are validating things by getting paid for those things. I can play baseball and not get paid. That doesn't mean I'm not a baseball player. I can be a painter and not get paid until after I'm dead, which is, and that doesn't. I mean, getting money doesn't necessarily validate it. But at the same time, the reality is we have to have at least one thing that pays the bills, right?
Yeah, so, while I was doing research for this book, I interviewed a ton of people, and what I realized is that not everyone had jobs that were, hugely meaningful, where they got all their variety that paid the bills. Some people split that up, so they would have one job that, they enjoyed well enough, that paid the bills, and then they would have this array of amazing hobbies, combine them. all that really matters is that overall in your life you have enough money that you can like meet your financial goals, and you also are doing something overall where you feel like you're doing something meaningful. You know, you're making a difference in some way, whatever that means to you. And you've, as a multi-potentialite, someone with many interests, it's important that you have variety. So it's like those three ingredients that you need to figure out, and they don't all need to come from the thing that's paying you. As long as you have them all in your life, it's okay.
I think you're absolutely right. If you were to sit down in a quiet moment and just, let's say you didn't know what your passion was, and I know this almost sounds contrite or something, or contrived, but when you just kind of analyze your own self, what am I really interested in? What really gets me excited? If you could do that thing, whether you get paid for it or not, I think you would be more enriched.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we place more value on profitable activities, and I understand where that comes from, but it's also problematic because you can engage with something that is just personally really meaningful and maybe, you know, helps strengthen your relationships or develop skills or lets you be creative, and those things are valuable as well.
The book is called How to Be Everything, a guide for those who still don't know what they want to be when they grow up. Emilie Wapnick is the author, and I have a copy of the book. So call me if you want the copy that was sent to me. I'll be glad to leave it for you on Patsy's desk. Emilie, give us a website so that we can learn more about the book and how to buy it.
Yeah, so you can learn more about the book at howtobeeverything.com. And if you think you might be a multi-potentialite and someone with many interests and creative pursuits, head over to puttylike, PUTTYLIKE.com, and we've got a whole bunch of resources, and there's a fun community of other multi-potentialites. So.
Wow. I love what you're doing, and I love what your message is, Emilie. Thank you for being on the air with us today, and thank you for getting up early to be on the show with us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
All right, we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. The battle goes on over the new Republican health care plan. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer wants to stop its passage this week and for both parties to work together, telling ABC's This Week.
Sit down and work with us. We have ideas, you have ideas.
Meanwhile,
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's goal is to repeal and replace Obamacare, and to do that, he's going to need to